This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Beckman and I'm a registered dietitian with the New York State Office for the Aging and SnapEd New York. Thanks for joining me today on What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Today I'm going to be making Brussels sprouts, apple, and sweet potato hash. This is a delicious and healthy recipe for the fall season. Now we posted the link to the recipe below, and it can also be found on the SnapEd New York website at www.snapedny.org. In New York State, Brussels sprouts are harvested September through November. Apples are also harvested late August through October, and the sweet potato harvest starts in September, so all of these items are in peak supply during the fall months. Prices on fruits and vegetables that are in season are usually more economical, so making this recipe during the fall months will mean that you can get the most bang for your buck. Now before I start putting the recipe together, let's look at the MyPlate graphic. This recipe covers the fruits and vegetables section of MyPlate. In this recipe, there are apples, a fruit, and Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes, both vegetables. So this recipe really does help you to reach your goal of making half of your plate fruits and vegetables. Apples are a great source of vitamin C and potassium. You want to focus on whole fruits. Including whole fruits in your diet mean you will get all of the vitamins and minerals in the fruit plus the fiber. 100% fruit juice can be a part of a healthy diet, but focusing on whole fruits allows you to get the fiber that you need. 100% juice doesn't have fiber, and fiber is so important for our digestion. Make sure that you include enough of it in your diet. Adding fruits and vegetables to your plate is a great way to make sure that you get enough fiber. Of course, vegetables are important for our health as well. They contain fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Sweet potatoes are a great source of vitamin A, vitamin C, B vitamins, and some minerals like calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and zinc. Brussels sprouts are a great source of vitamin K, vitamin C, and folate. Brussels sprouts are classified as cruciferous vegetables, just like broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. These vegetables are full of antioxidants that can help decrease inflammation in the body and can help protect against some cancers. You want to vary your veggies by eating lots of different colors. Each vegetable has different nutrients in it that our bodies need. So by varying your veggies, you're making sure that you're getting all of the different nutrients in your diet. This recipe is nice and colorful with the apples, Brussels sprouts, and sweet potatoes. Remember, everything you eat and drink over time matters. You want to find your healthy eating style and maintain it for a lifetime. The right mix can help you be healthier now and in the future. Eating more fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, it's all good for your heart health. It can help protect against some chronic diseases like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. So let's get into making this recipe. You want to remember to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer before you start cooking. So this recipe makes about 6 servings. The recipe calls for 1 large sweet potato that I have here. I peeled this one and cut it into chunks. You'll also need 2 tablespoons of olive oil plus a nonstick spray. You need a half a pound of Brussels sprouts, 1/2 of a medium onion slice, which is right here, and 1/2 of a cup of celery. I'm going to cut this piece of celery up in just a minute. You need 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme or 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, which I have here. I also have some fresh thyme here, and you can see that it's sort of on little stalks and there's these little leaves on here. And what you want is the little leaves. You don't want to include the stalks in there. So to take the leaves off, you can very gently sort of squeeze them and pull them backwards on the stalk, and the leaves will come off pretty easily. The problem with the fresh thyme is I find that if I am in a hurry, I get too annoyed with these little stalks here. I start doing it too quickly, and then the stalks start to break, and I can't get the leaves off, and it's pretty annoying. So if you are in a crunch for time, so to speak, I suggest using the dried thyme like I have here and not the fresh thyme. So that's one of the things that you can do just to make it a little bit different. If you grow thyme, this is a great way to use it. 1 red apple, any variety, cut into chunks or into pieces, and salt and pepper to taste. Now you can omit the salt altogether if you don't want to have too much sodium in your diet, if you're trying to limit your sodium intake. Now the first thing you have to do is to heat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, which I've already done. Now you can line your baking tray with aluminum foil to make cleanup easier, but you don't have to. I'm going to get my pan back here. So this is my baking pan, and you can just use a nonstick spray. And you're going to spray the pan first. And then you can put your sweet potatoes in there. You're just going to spread them out sort of evenly and make sure that you have them sort of in a nice even layer. And then you're going to put them in the oven at 425 degrees, and you're going to roast them for about 20 minutes. So I'm just going to go over and put those in here. And I made some earlier, and you can see this is what they look like after they're completed. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you drizzle some of the olive oil on there so they come out nice and brown. So after about 20 minutes, they'll be nice and tender, and you can set these aside after you've gotten them cooked. Now, while the potatoes are cooking, you can slice the Brussels sprouts into about 1/2 to 1/4 inch pieces. And what you want to do with this Brussels sprouts is, first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut the little ends off here. And in the recipe, it talks about sort of slicing them into 1/4 inch pieces, but I found that I really like them better if I cut them sort of into quarters like this. Do that. We'll do that one more time. Going to get the end off here. And then you can just slice the Brussels sprout into quarters. Okay. So I'm going to have to put some of the oil in the pan, maybe about half of it. Some of the olive oil. And then you can put the Brussels sprouts in next, because those have got to cook first. Okay. And now the next thing I can do is I can chop up this celery right here. So one of the things you want to do when you make sure that you cut the celery is sort of keep your fingers out of the way. So you're going to cut the ends off here. And you can do what's called the claw method. So you're going to sort of curl your fingers out of the way of the blade. So I'm going to slice down the middle here. And then as we chop it, just keep your fingers out of the way. And you can just sort of chop those up into maybe 1/4, 1/8, 1/4 inch pieces. And I can smell those Brussels sprouts. They're already starting to get brown. You want to cook the Brussels sprouts until they're caramelized. And you're going to know that they're caramelized because they're going to start to turn a little bit brown. All right. All right, we're almost done with that celery. All right, and now I can put that celery in there. The other thing we have to do is add the onion. So we're going to put that together in there. All right. Now we're going to let that cook just a little bit more. And we have all of those things in the pan going. The last thing you need to do is to cut up your apple. So you can do a couple of different things with the apple. You could cut it into chunks. You could use a grater and grate it into very small pieces. I decided I wanted my pieces a little bit larger. So what I like to do is cut all the way around the core. Get 4 pieces of apple here. Again, keep your fingers out of the way of the blade. Once you have that apple done, you can cut it any number of ways, right? You can slice it up like this. I think that's what I'll do, because then we'll have them nice big pieces of apple. I'm going to wait on that just a minute. We're going to let those Brussels sprouts and those onions cook a little bit more while we chop this. Okay. Last piece, last couple pieces here. All right. And it depends on if you want the pieces a little bit bigger. They're going to be a little crunchier if you leave them larger. If you cut them a little sort of thin like this, they'll get a little softer when you cook them. Or if you put them into big chunks, they're going to be a little bit more firm after you cook them. So now we're going to put these apples in here. So there, that looks pretty good. And we can add the thyme last. All right. And so you're going to let that cook for a while. I would say probably 8 to 10 minutes. And generally, you're going to add the Brussels sprouts, going to let those brown a little bit. Then you're going to add the onion. You're going to let that brown a little bit. Then you're going to add the celery and the apples last. And in the interest of time, we're not going to do all of that. But I'm going to just continue to let this cook for a little while. We want to make sure that the apples get all heated through. And the last thing that you can do is add the sweet potatoes. So I have the sweet potatoes here that I cooked earlier. We're going to put those in the pan. And then you just sort of make sure that all of that gets nice and warm. And that's basically it. Let me show you some of the hash that I made earlier. So this is what it looks like when it's done, and you can see how colorful it is. And I love to roast the vegetables because it really brings out their flavor. Adding the celery and apples adds a nice crunch and some extra color. And I hope that this recipe gave you some ideas on how to incorporate more fruits and vegetables into your diet. To find more ways that you can save time, save money, and eat healthy, join me for the next edition of What's Cooking with NYSOFA, premiering on Friday, December 30th at 12:30 p.m. In December, I'm going to be making a chicken and veggie roast, which is perfect for 1 or 2 people. You can watch the brand new recipes on the last Friday of every month on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page and the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel. And by the way, if you'd like to see what we've done in the past on the show, all of the episodes are archived on NYSOFA's YouTube channel. This presentation was funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Have a great day, everyone, and stay safe out there.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP-Ed New York. This program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP-Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.